When we talk about the flow state, it's like discussing a hidden treasure buried deep within the human experience, a phenomenon so profound that it borders on the mystical, yet so universal that nearly everyone has tasted it at least once. Think about the moments and time seem to dissolve when you were completely immersed in what you were doing, whether it was painting, playing a sport, solving a challenging problem, or even having a deep conversation. It's in these moments that life feels effortless yet intensely vivid, as though you've tapped into a higher frequency of existence. From a psychological perspective, the flow state represents a delicate balance between skill and challenge. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the renowned psychologist who popularized this concept, described it as the point where the demands of a task perfectly align with your abilities. Too little challenge and you feel bored. Too much and you become anxious. But when the two align up, that's when magic happens. Your brain enters a state of harmony, like an orchestra playing in perfect unison, and every note feels just right. At the neural level, something extraordinary occurs during flow. Your brain quiets down in areas associated with self-criticism and doubt, particularly in the prefrontal cortex. This phenomenon, known as transient hypofrontality, allows you to bypass the mental chatter that often holds you back. Instead of overthinking every step, your actions and decisions flow seamlessly from one to the next. The brain also floods your system with a cocktail of feel-good neurochemicals, dopamine, norepinephrine, and endorphins, enhancing focus and creating a sense of euphoria. It's like your brain switches into its peak performance mode, granting you access to reserves of creativity, resilience, and energy that you didn't even know you had. But here's where things get fascinating. While flow feels effortless, achieving it often requires a paradoxical mix of intense preparation and complete surrender. Let me explain. Remember Safu, the aspiring charioteer? His journey wasn't about mastering the mechanics of chariot driving overnight. Instead, it was about internalizing the principles so deeply that the reins became an extension of his arms, the chariot an extension of his body. This aligns perfectly with what psychologists call implicit learning, the process by which skills and knowledge become ingrained to the point of automaticity. Think about it. When was the last time you consciously thought about how to tie your shoelaces or ride a bike? Those actions flow effortlessly because you've trained your brain to perform them without conscious effort. Now, this implicit learning is crucial for reaching the flow state. It's why world-class athletes, musicians, and even chess players spend countless hours practicing. They're not just honing their skills, they're embedding them so deeply into their neural pathways that when the moment comes, they can let go of conscious control and simply be. This is what Safu's master was teaching him, not just the art of charioteering, but the art of trusting his own body and instincts. Interestingly, this principle isn't limited to elite performers. We all experience flow in different ways. For some, it's found in the rhythm of a morning jog. For others, it's in the pages of a captivating book or the strokes of a paintbrush. The common thread is immersion, a complete absorption in the task at hand. And yet, here's the catch. The harder you try to force yourself into flow, the more elusive it becomes. It's like trying to fall asleep by sheer willpower. The more you command yourself to sleep, the more awake you feel. The key lies in creating the conditions for flow and then letting it unfold naturally. This brings us to an important Question: how can we set the stage for flow in our own lives? First, it's about finding that sweet spot between skill and challenge. If a task feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Conversely, if it feels too easy, look for ways to make it more engaging. Maybe you set a timer to complete it faster, or you find a new angle to approach it. The goal is to keep yourself engaged without dipping into frustration or boredom. Another critical factor is attention. In today's world, where distractions are everywhere, guarding your focus is more important than ever. Research shows that even a small interruption like checking your phone can pull you out of the flow state, and it can take up to 20 minutes to get back into it. So, if you're serious about achieving flow, create an environment that minimizes distractions, turn off notifications, find a quiet space, and set clear boundaries for your time. And let's not forget about the role of intrinsic motivation. Flow thrives when you're doing something for the sheer joy of it, not for external rewards like money or recognition. This ties back to Csikszentmihalyi's idea of autotelic experiences, activities that are rewarding in and of themselves. When your motivation comes from within, you're more likely to lose yourself in the moment and enter that magical state where effort feels like play. Now, let's circle back to the idea of wu wei, or effortless action, a cornerstone of Taoist philosophy. At its core, wu wei isn't about passivity or doing nothing. It's about aligning your actions with the natural flow of life, much like a river finding its way to the ocean without force or struggle. In the flow state, this concept comes alive. Your actions feel spontaneous yet perfectly timed, as though you're riding the current of something greater than yourself. Philosophers and psychologists alike have long marveled at this phenomenon. Friedrich Nietzsche, for instance, spoke of the Dionysian state, a form of ecstatic surrender where one becomes attuned to the primal forces of existence. Similarly, Carl Jung described moments of flow as encounters with the self, a deeper, more integrated version of who we are. From these perspectives, flow isn't just a psychological state. It's a gateway to transcendence, a glimpse into what it means to be fully alive. But here's the most exciting part. Flow isn't reserved for the elite or the extraordinary. It's accessible to all of us, no matter our background or expertise. The key lies in cultivating the right mindset, a blend of curiosity, humility, and openness. Approach each task with a sense of wonder, as though it's an opportunity to discover something new about yourself and the world. Embrace mistakes as part of the process, and trust that with enough practice you'll find your rhythm. And when you do, when you feel that unmistakable click of mind and body working in harmony, savor it. Because in that moment, you're not just doing something, you're being something. You're a dancer, a thinker, a creator, a human being in its purest, most elevated form. And isn't that what life is all about? So whether you're a charioteer navigating treacherous roads, a musician lost in the notes of a melody, or simply someone trying to find their way in the chaos of daily life, remember this: the flow state isn't just a destination, it's a journey into the heart of what makes us human and what makes us extraordinary.